well do you really know your podcast hosts?
You listen to them every day, but have you ever wondered what goes on behind their microphones? There's a killer on the loose somewhere.
Hold on, guys. Do you really think we should start off that way? It's kind of presumptuous. I mean, how do we know if they listen to us every day?
Hey, I'm just reading what's in the script, okay?
Those are some good lines. All right, they're badly delivered, but they're good lines.
I think we should just hit them with the charm.
Okay, good. Excellent. I'll take the lead on this.
Excuse me, Jade. Why you?
Well, I'm an actor. Duh, I can turn on the charm.
Is it on now?
It's warming up.
Speaking of warm, it's so hot in here. Do we have to do this in a closet?
Yes, the acoustics are better. And trust me, okay, you guys need acoustics. All right, so I want you to take it again and really hit the word killer. You know, just killer.
There's a killer on the loose somewhere.
No need to scream. Okay, all right, you know what I need you to do? I need you to really punch somewhere.
There's a... Give me action.
And action.
Killer on the loose somewhere.
Guys.
All right, okay, do it again, but slower.
Okay.
Guys.
On the loose.
Guys.
What?
Look at this.
Oh, well, one thing's for sure.
Yeah. This sends our podcast
in a whole new direction. And a 5, 6, 7, 8. The besties are back, bitches. Yes. Good evening, folks. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Jade.
I'm Kara.
And I'm Erica.
Woo.
And this is Perfectly Marvelous, a podcast currently dedicated to the hit Hulu show Only Murders in the Building.
And today we're reviewing the season 3 penultimate episode 30.
Oh my goodness gracious. Penultimate. I can't believe it's already here. It's insane.
I know.
If there's one thing that I have learned from this episode is that it may take 2 to tango, but it definitely takes 3 besties with absolutely no life and a Hulu account to podcast on Only Murders in the Building. So let's just take a beat. Let's take a beat and appreciate how magical this is. The 3 of us reunited at last, investigating as one. I can't contain myself.
Perfect line.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Perfectly Marvelous, babies.
Mm-hmm. So much to talk about.
Oh my gosh, we have so much to talk about. So let's housekeeping real quick before we get into it. As always, part 2 of the podcast will be the whodunit theories, and that will be a video on YouTube. And please, when you go there, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It just warms my little heart to see how many new subscribers we have, because we have a lot, and it is amazing.
Yeah.
I think we're at 359 right now, so we're almost at 360.
Nice.
And I was talking to someone the other day, and they were like, they have a lot of YouTube followers, you know, in the some, you know, 25 some over that, like thousands, you know, 25,000 I think is what they have. And they were like, how many do you have? And I'm like, 350. And they're like, aw. And I'm like, hey, that's a big accomplishment. I appreciate it.
You got to start somewhere, and they're authentic. They're probably, you know, real big fans. Yay.
Yeah, you know, I appreciate my 350 followers. Yes. I truly do. So now 359. So yes, please, when you go watch the second part of the video and you go watch the theories, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's just a tiny little thing, and it makes such a big difference to us. And for the full video of all the podcasts, you can go to patreon.com/perfectlymarvelous, sign up to be a Marvelous member, and you get so many bonus things, a lot of extra YouTube videos that me right now and my friend Paul are making our murder mystery series, and we just covered Dial M for Murder, and next up on the list is Columbo. More about that later, though. Yay. Of course, before we get into it, shout out to the most perfectly marvelous people in all of the land, our patrons: Lisa, Gail, Kimberly, Melanie, Liz, Kathy, Melissa, Jane, Katrina, Tarika, and Eli. We love you all. Woo! Thank you so much, my loves. And now, without further ado, let us get it going. Tits up, bitches.
Tits up.
Tits up.
Woo, woo, woo. Okay, I realized something, y'all. Last week's episode was probably my favorite episode of Only Murders in the Building ever, and I hear a lot of people say that. Sid's Probe was freaking amazing. This one was a great really follow-up. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, this one, I didn't know if they could this, it was a hard act to follow, and this really did. It was great. It was they're just, the back end of this show right now is so funny.
It is.
It's killing me. Yeah. It's just, the writing is hilarious. But one of my favorite murder mystery thriller writers co-wrote Sid's Probe, Peter Swanson. And I was like, no fucking way. Yeah. So I just wanted to say, if y'all want a good murder mystery thrillery kind of read that's very in the vein of it's almost like Hitchcock, Agatha Christie meets Hitchcock. Feels very like film noir reading his books. Yeah. I'm saving his newest book, The Christmas Guest, for my holiday reading. Got to keep it seasonal. But my favorite books of his are 8 Perfect Murders and 9 Lives. Great place to start. And his first one, The Girl with the Clock for a Heart.
Great things about that book.
It's really, all of his books are great. His first one, The Girl with the Clock for a Heart, is very noirish. It's got a very classic vibe. Yeah, I just had to mention that because I could not believe I missed that he co-wrote it. It's amazing.
That's so cool.
Peter Swanson. Nice. He's amazing. Yeah. So, okay, this episode though. Cold open. We got no voiceover, but we got this weird ass dream that Mabel's having here. Oliver's in the hospital and she's given birth to
weird.
Steve Martin's face as he's doing this baby thing.
Oh God, that was so bizarre.
The sucking. He does this
did not
sucking.
Love it.
I was like, what is happening?
It reminded me of a particular scene in Friends where Joey or Rachel has a dream that when she's getting with Joey and she looks down after she's had her baby and it's Ross.
Oh man, I was never a Friends person, but that sounds...
That was the first thing I thought of and I was like, I'm uncomfortable. That is weird.
But it's really... I don't know. It was so creepy.
Yeah, this was bizarre. So she gives birth to a podcast, right? She has this voiceover, though. Yeah. She's talking about childhood fantasies almost never come true. But when Mabel was 10, she wanted to marry Josh Hartnett, have 2 kids, and drive a Honda Odyssey. Not a bad life. Not a bad life. I mean, if Josh Hartnett's your thing, it sounds like a terrible life to me, but I can see how Mabel would be into it.
We're driving a mom van, I guess those are aspirations for a 10-year-old.
I know.
I don't think that's what I wanted when I was 10.
Yeah.
No. Well, now Mabel's life is very different. Her 2 best friends are pushing 80, and she's giving birth to their podcast. But that sounds more like a great life to me.
But they were so sweet at Oliver's bedside, and I was like, oh no. This is lovely. Although I'm not going to lie, I thought his heart issues were going to be a little more prominent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I have no problem with this. I am great, fine, wonderful, because it gave us it gave us a great cliffhanger, gasp, I clutched my pearls and I was like, oh boy. And then this is exactly what I wished for. Please do not prolong this. I hate seeing my favorite characters sick. I hate it. Yeah. So they didn't do that. I'm very glad.
They listened.
Yes, I appreciate that. So Oliver's been in the hospital for 5 days. They put a stent to crop up his preaky artery. And yes, now he's getting released 2 days before the opening of the show. And also Mabel's birthday. I really hope that we get to know the date of the show so that then I can do Mabel's astrology because I want to know.
Oh yeah, that would be fun.
I'm guessing she's a Scorpio. Doesn't she seem Scorp to you? She gives me Scorp vibes.
I could see it.
Secretive, mysterious. And they love hard. And they're very sexy. That's very Mabel to me. Mm-hmm. Anywho. So, I love this. The besties are back together. Mm-hmm. And when I texted you guys earlier today, I just want to say how much I love you guys. How lucky we are to have each other and get to podcast together. I'm about to rewatch the episode, and then I press play, and 2 seconds in, Oliver's just can we just appreciate how great this is? I'm like, yep, I'm Oliver.
Perfect. I was like, I had just written down in my notes, like, it's so meta and perfect that Oliver said that. Like, can we just take a beat? Because that is what everyone was thinking.
Yeah.
At that point in time.
Yep.
For sure. I cackled when Charles randomly said, Loretta's been in jail a few days. I wonder if she shaved her head and got jacked.
Because I was like, yeah, Charles, that sounds hot to only you. He loves himself a jailbird.
What? It's like, all right, man. And then when, they're going back and forth and Mabel's like, we'll promise we'll get her home to you. And Charles pipes in with, no matter how many face tattoos she has now.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Charles was on a roll of being so annoying today.
Yes. Charles was
actually so fun.
Charles was very annoying to me this whole episode. We'll get there. I have some hot takes on Charles.
It's just a little much.
Charles is on another level this whole season. I do totally love it, but he has a moment later in the episode that I didn't love, and I'll when we get there, I'll make sure to mention it. So I loved Oliver telling his besties that he's so in love with Loretta, and when Mabel's like, love, I thought you all were just hooking up, and he's we hooked up. We hooked up big time.
I'm like,
down.
And you name a way, we did a hook.
I'm like, oh no.
That was cute. Their chemistry and everything together just immediately in the cold open made me so happy. I was
so happy. Yeah.
This is great.
More of this, please. Please never split up our trio again. I don't love it.
Seriously.
I love this,
That was one thing. I wish we would have gotten something like this earlier on in the season. Reuniting them and all that. Because it feels so much better.
Yeah, I mean, if it took them having to have a fight in order to feel this good about them getting back together, then I'm kind of okay with it.
Yeah.
Because
I was ready for it. 2 or 3 episodes
weren't we all?
I'm also glad it wasn't like somebody was coming in between them. Like it wasn't like a love interest that was keeping them apart.
Yeah.
It was more their, I don't know, career paths or just things that were kind of blocking them.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's kind of like old patterns coming back up to be confronted again, lessons that you think you've already learned. We as humans love learning a lesson and then learning it again and then learning it again and then learning it again. Yeah, we just like have goldfish-sized brains. But their habits were to kind of like hide from each other and hold things in and not be open and vulnerable. And that's how they met each other, So it makes sense that kind of comes full circle for them to have that whole thing happen again. And it makes their bond stronger, and I love it. And the opening credits reflect this. The trio's on the roof, the trio's in the
sweet.
I only saw them twice in the apartment. Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the apartment on the roof and then in the outside the courtyard or outside the entrance.
Yes.
That was sweet.
Yeah, so we see them 3 times. Yeah. They're back. The besties are back, just like us. And it's so joyous. Oh,
lots of threes.
Happy. Yes, lots of threes. Yes.
Lots of numbers in this episode, too.
Yeah. Yeah, the number 30 was cool because...
And 5.
5. What 5?
Yeah, like the 5
whores.
The 5 whores.
Indeed.
They're 5 whores, 1 cookie.
Yeah.
5 whores, 1 cookie. That's a great YouTube video.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's terrible.
That's an X-rated YouTube video. Watch it if you dare.
No.
Anyway.
Anywho, here we go. All right. So Joy's wedding dress arrives. Oh, hold on. Silence my phone. Joy's wedding dress arrives. And
that was fun.
Yeah, and some cookies come from Donna because that's her thing. She's really into those schmackeries. I think that her and Schmackery have some kind of a business deal going on. I think she gets discounts. Oh, that's your background. I just noticed that, Kara.
Yeah.
Yes, Kara, can you...
seemed appropriate for this episode.
Can you run in there real quick, Kara, and grab us a box of chocolate chip? Anyone who's just listening to the podcast, on Kara's background on Zoom is schmackeries. Yes. Yes, rat poison free, please.
Please.
So yeah, Joy's parents are still alive. Good to know. And her child.
That was hilarious.
I laughed out loud. I'm like, what?
And her childhood dog. I was just like, is Joy's family immortal? Like, what is happening?
I mean, Andrea Martin, I hope, is immortal. She seems like it's totally possible.
Yeah.
If there's really anyone the goddess Andrea Martin, I mean, yeah.
Mabel's snark was also on point in this episode. It made me happy.
When she was like, when Charles started, I'm emotional about Joy's wedding dress, and she's like, I'll take this.
Yep.
Joy's fucking parents are still alive? What?
Yeah. I'm like, what the hell? But that is a legitimate question to ask.
It is.
Mm-hmm. I was like, how the hell are they still alive?
Maybe Joy's parents were like really, really young when they had her.
Like 13.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
It's possible.
I feel like she knows I feel like Joy would know some kind of, anti-aging secret or something. Mm-hmm. She totally would. It's her thing.
I think so.
I just thought that was so, it made so much sense.
Is great for your skin, and we know she's really into fish. So
you are very right about that.
Maybe they'll do the Mediterranean diet.
Yeah. I mean, since I started taking sea moss every day, I feel like I am aging backwards. I look like a 33-year-old baby, and
elasticity starts to come back.
Yeah. Yep. Doesn't Kimber say that about Ben? He's literally aging backwards.
Oh, yeah.
Your skin is so soft. Remember when he touches
Yeah.
things?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that was such a weird line.
That still needs to make sense to me. Someone needs to make that make sense.
I'm assuming it's the serum. Like, he was just...
I don't know. I think a lot of things are going to be addressed about that final Ben comes back to the after party. Yeah, right. I think a lot of things are going to come to light about that in the final episode.
She hasn't re-listened. She hasn't re-listened to the audio of him talking. You remember she recorded it? So
yeah, right.
Oh yeah, that has to come back. That'll be a clue.
Yeah. I just really hope that the Ben's face being so soft thing, I really hope that's significant because it stood out to me so much.
I bet they used the audio to figure out who was there and who wasn't when he was giving his little speech.
That's possible.
Yeah.
Well, but I don't know. He was the only one talking, though.
Idea. Yeah, but he went around and addressed, like, essentially each potential suspect. And if they think, they could figure out who called him on the phone by trying to do process of elimination, who's not there, that seems like it could be relevant.
Yeah, possible. All right, let's get back to this. Dickie, they go to this Dickie interview. Finally, they ask Dickie questions. I'm like, God, took you long enough.
Finally.
So after he left the party, he, put on his Cobra suit, got drunk, went looking for drugs and whores. As you do.
Wouldn't?
Who wouldn't? And the cops got this security camera photo, but no audio. They didn't buy it as an alibi, though, because you can't really see his face. I mean, you can see his face.
Yeah.
You can. Here, I have the photo. Let's look at it, shall we?
It's just maybe not as definitive. Did it have a timestamp? That was the other. Did Mabel factor in the whole watch changing thing when she accounted for Dickie's whereabouts?
I would
assume she wouldn't forget that. She didn't say anything about it, and I was like, Mabel, double check.
That's true. Yeah, she didn't. Okay, look at this.
Me.
You can totally see his face.
Yeah.
Is he sleeping? Like propped up like that, leaning?
That outfit.
I know.
Is he trying to?
And he was like, I was screaming
How
for
do I make it bigger?
This is when I was screaming for them to bring me the 5 whores, and I'm like, the only just travesty right now is that we can't see that scene. I want to see it.
I know, but like,
I don't see.
Present the 5 whores, please. I wanted to see it.
Oh my God,
5 whores.
He looks like he's like kicking something off of his leg.
No, that's the tail.
That's the tail.
I know, but like the way he's like looking down.
Yeah. His
so
feet
weird.
are kind of, it looks like they're kind of
I see a
like
sneaker.
He's perhaps fallen over.
He looks
I imagine
wobbly.
it would be difficult to walk in that.
That is a terrible costume.
It is. It's so, and he has, what is that, like some sort of scepter?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Cobra.
I love the idea of him outside of that fabric shop.
Yeah, screaming for the five horse. So I'm saying, show me this fucking scene. So yeah, but the cops, he said they didn't really buy it as an alibi, but that doesn't matter now because Loretta confessed. And then when he hears that, that you don't think that Loretta really did it, well, I got to call my lawyer then. Something's suspicious about Dickie to me. We'll get more into it when we talk about theories, but I'm like, is this not Dickie? Is it his stunt double? Like, does Dickie have a stunt double? Are there two Dickies? I don't know.
Right. He didn't seem super offended when they all said they thought it could be him. He was just like, oh, really? Why is that? Like, almost like he wanted to hear if they had anything on him. I was like, I could see this being taken that way. Or he's about just jaded and doesn't give a shit anymore. But
it was weird. It didn't. It was
an odd reaction.
It was. He left the party early because he was freaked out, but he didn't leave the party because he was freaked out. He left the party early because he got a phone call for Ben.
Yeah.
Right. Wait. Is that why
he go with him?
That's what I was thinking. See, okay, when you look at the episode, when you look at that scene, Ben leaves, and then it just looks like Dickie follows him out to take the phone call. And he says, I left early because I was freaked out because Ben came back to life and I had to get out of there. So his story does sound kind of strange. I don't know if that's a writing thing or if that's supposed to be significant. Yeah. But I thought that was weird too. I'm like, no, you left the party with Ben.
Right. Oh, this scene reminded me of one thing that you guys brought up in the last podcast episode.
What's that?
You were talking about Ben and how, if he had fallen from the penthouse floor, how it should have been a lot louder and he would have, possibly broken through. But when we see the trio going through,
imagining him falling.
Yeah. He's falling from
the 10th floor.
The 10th floor, which is Oliver's floor. And we know Mabel lives on the 12th floor. And Charles lives on the 14th floor. So really, he only would have had to fall like 8-ish stories since the elevator was, on the top of the top of the elevator would have been above the first floor technically.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have seen people falling from heights like that or being shoved from heights like that where everything is still intact. Just broken. So I was like, that makes a little more sense to me if he only fell from the 10th floor.
He was fasting though.
That was something.
What if he fell and fainted? I had that thought too.
He was weakened by the lack of food. He only had one cookie in him.
He had one cookie with some rat poison. But no, I just thought just the impact. Like if he's he's like a 200-pound man, I have no idea.
Oh no, sorry. And they pumped his stomach. They pumped his stomach, so we didn't even have that in him. Sorry,
he didn't even have the cookie.
No, not even the cookie. Yeah. Sorry, Erica. What were you saying?
No, I just it, and I don't know if this was just a choice. Like it didn't sound like a body falling.
No,
like I don't know. It doesn't fall into the line of physics that I would have think that it would have impacted like a whomp.
Like a womp. Yeah. There was no womp.
Yeah, it did not sound, unless there's some really great soundproofing.
Maybe it
elevators super thick. Maybe so, but
maybe Bunny had some insulation around it or something.
I have also really had to suspend my disbelief when it comes to how accurate the injuries are on this show.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, I don't know. But that was odd.
Do you spill that much blood out of your mouth from rat poisoning?
Oh God.
Rat poisoning.
That's why I was saying it looked staged. It looked like it could be an act, like theater, like it was fake blood. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. But it also could be because this is a television show and it was fake blood, and that's maybe why it didn't look. Yeah, we're like, why didn't it look incredibly real? It's because it's a show, Jade. Anyway, it's not a show. Back to talking about these people like they're real people, because that's what we do here on this podcast. Welcome to the show.
I did understand why Dickie was like, well, then why the hell would Loretta confess to this if she didn't do it? Because he's not in the know that she's his
he doesn't seem
mom.
To be. Yeah. He doesn't seem to be in the know. But we don't know for certain because we never saw him.
That he doesn't know for sure.
Does who has the letter?
Loretta still has it.
They put it back in her bag. Okay.
And I never really brought this up at the time because we were talking about other things, Erica, but that is very wrong. I just wanted to say, wow.
Yes,
wow, guys.
I agree.
Going through someone's bag, also reading their personal mail.
Not if something were to it's just that was shitty.
It was not.
I mean, I can see why they did it, but it was shitty. Not cool.
Yeah, I can see.
It was good for the drama, but not for it's not nice. Don't go on people's things and snoop.
Yeah. Yeah, don't do that. Not nice. I mean, I get it because you got to be Sherlocking, but can you just Sherlock more politely, please? Anyway, okay, so we don't know if Dickie knows that Loretta is his mom. The show would like us to believe that he does not know, but I still, we'll get
Seemingly, he doesn't.
Seemingly. It would seem. Yeah. Seemingly, I see no seams. Snitches get stitches.
Speaking of seams.
Segway Jones. All right. Trio goes to the fashion district to Snitches Get Stitches, and they meet Ben's not one, not two, not three, not four, but five. Count 'em, 5 whores. Amateur.
5 whores. We can't just walk into a brothel without a reservation. I was like, oh, Oliver? Okay.
He's not wrong, though.
From experience.
I know from experience.
You have to be, everything has to be accounted for.
Everything,
proper etiquette at a whorehouse, please.
Yeah, RSVP. Please and thank you.
That is important. That would drive me crazy. Anyway.
So we get one of the great jokes of Only Murders in the Building. Nobody stops a guy with a ladder. And it gets you in anywhere. And
the ladder is the new turkey.
And it might work better, though, if the guy holding the ladder wasn't wearing orthopedic shoes and dressed like a leprechaun. And then Oliver's just like,
He's like, good point. He's like taking in the note. It's like, yeah, that's true.
He's like, well, I think he's taking it in to be like, no, I think that this costume is perfectly appropriate. No, wrong.
Yeah. Of course he doesn't see anything wrong. What he's wearing.
It's like, this is my ladder carrying outfit.
The continued callbacks every now and then with, the ladder is the new turkey, calling back to bringing Sting and Turkey in season 1. I was like, this is
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Who turns someone away when they show up with a 10-pound turkey? Not I.
I would probably turn someone away if they showed up with a 10-pound turkey.
Well, yes.
My door.
I'm like, I don't need turkey.
Random people. I'm just like, no, thank you.
No, thanks.
Seems suspicious.
No, thank you.
And then, obviously, Charles, when they're all discussing how they're going to approach going in, and Oliver obviously assumes, just walking in with the ladder is going to work, and Charles goes on and tells another lovely Brazos story. Brazos is a Texas river. Anyway. Brazos story where he talks about his single solitary tear and how it made this emotional connection with all these men and all these viewers, and I was just like, oh jeez, Charles. I was like, is he gonna try to cry? And then of course he tried to cry.
So they go in, and I love how when they go in, he's like, follow my lead, let the ladder do the work. And then he's like, wait, I want to go first. No, I want to go first. And they're fighting like little children. And Mabel's just like, my infant 80-year-olds.
Oh, God.
It's true, though. Mabel is totally their mother. It's just adorable. I love it. I love it. Yep.
It is pretty cute.
Charles, give me the stage. Yeah, so this store worker, Matthew Manuel is the actor's name. You're very lucky, sir, to be in one of the funniest scenes ever on Only Murders in the Building. I mean, ever. This scene, I say, rolling on the floor laughing I was done.
Yes.
Dead. Deceased.
Yeah.
And he was so good. And he was so good because he was just like, his reaction was like, what the hell am I looking at?
Yeah. What the hell am I looking at? Oh my God. So Oliver walks in and just here to change a light bulb. And then some of the greatest.
He looks like someone who would show up just to change a light bulb.
Totally. Apparently this does work for people, though. People have said that if you walk in to anywhere with a ladder.
You have to look the part.
Right. So Oliver walks in, here to change a light bulb, and then this happens.
We all know what's going on in the back room. Wink, wink. But did you see my ladder?
The eyebrow raise.
I'm sorry, is my crying upsetting you?
So ridiculous.
You're not crying.
Give it a minute.
You're not crying.
My favorite part.
Do you have any menthol for under the eyes?
Yeah, I have a bucket of menthol.
Do you need a restroom? We have one in the back. Oh, thank you so much. Get in there.
They all go together.
Yeah, they all go together. So the part that I think
he's constipated, clearly.
Yeah, the part that I think is the best part is when the store clerk, a notions and trimming store clerk, offers his restroom, which has never happened in the face of New York City ever.
I was going to say, in New York especially.
They will never volunteer their restroom to you. Right after he says, you can't go back there. And he's like, I know, dude, but did you see my ladder? And then he's just like, oh yeah, but go right back there where we have the bathroom, the public bathroom, when you haven't bought anything. Yeah, it's great. It's grand. I love it.
Maybe
TV.
he didn't want him to poop on his floor. That's what he was worried about. Because,
it was Steve Martin's idea to do that, just to like,
yeah. He's like, that was so funny when he's just like,
he's like
gesturing down.
Look at this.
Like, sorry, is my crying upsetting you?
You're not crying. No, it's not upsetting me. Yeah, that was great.
That guy, the actor there, oh my God.
Matthew Manuel.
With a straight, he was amazing. Straight face. I'm like, oh my God. Face.
If Steve Martin was in my face doing that, I would not be able to either stop grinning or stop laughing.
You're like, hi.
Yeah, I was like, oh, it's you. Like, this is happening.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. It's gold. It's just, this is one of the greatest moments that's ever been in Only Murders in the Building. It will always be in my mind as one of it's definitely in the top 5, maybe top 3 at this point. This is pretty damn good.
I do like Mabel. Oh yeah, I got a bucket of menthol.
Yes, and that
that
reminded me of Theater Camp. Have you guys seen Theater Camp yet?
No,
there's a part in Theater Camp where one of the campers is acting and has to cry on cue, and then they're like, wait a minute, I see she's using, and then they go up to her and they're like, give me the stuff or whatever, and she's like, tear stick, and she's like, this is juicing for actors. Do you want to be who's the athlete, who's the famous athlete?
Jose Canseco.
No, she says, like, was it
Barry
Lance Armstrong?
Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, she goes, you want to be the Lance Armstrong of theater?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was so good. Oh my God.
Good.
So that's what that reminded me of. I got a bucket of menthol. No. So then they meet the 5 glorious whores, as Oliver calls them. Emerald, Trixie.
Yeah, I love the way he said whores.
Whores, yes.
Whores.
Emerald, Trixie, Marigold, May, and there's one other one.
Dot.
Dot, of course, Dot.
Yeah.
Gotta have Dot. Yes. And Mary Louise Burke plays Trixie. Fabulous. Fabulous. This, just everything about this. The absurdity. They made a Ben quilt. It finally came into fruition.
And they called him Benny.
So much.
Benny.
And he clearly was precious with them. And I was just like, damn it, are they going to make us like Ben?
Oh, they did.
Happening.
They made him so sympathetic.
I was just like, aw.
This is
to the point where I was like, did he throw himself down the elevator shaft?
Oh,
like,
God.
Get out of my brain, though.
What's happening? Seriously, though, like they went. I felt bad for him.
Sad.
He's a complicated person. He's still a dick, but that doesn't mean he wasn't a human who had feelings. Clearly.
Yeah.
So, fuck.
We'll get there. Oh, we'll get there. I have stuff to say about that. Oh, when
Let's
we have
talk about Trixie.
that scene.
Trixie.
Yes. What did we think of this? What did we think of this scene? Erica, I know you loved this.
Oh, I did. I said the entire scene with the 5 whores. They were so amazing. But I had to pick it as my marvelous moment. I loved it so much.
The part we'll play this moment for your marvelous moment here. Wait.
Yes.
Yeah. It was just giddy. The entire scene. Like from them walking out with a ladder to leaving was excellent.
It was gold.
It's a gift for you. It's a ladder. Sorry for calling you whores.
Oh, that's all right. I used to be one.
Very interesting. You guys,
That's interesting. Bye.
you know how funny I fucking found that. I was dying when she said I used to be a horse.
excellent.
And
I love it.
And Martin
Oh, that
Short's
is-
just so quiet. Like, he was still Oliver, even though he couldn't talk. He was, that was him speechless. He just couldn't.
His life like flashed before his eyes. Like, what do I do? But I love that he's like, this is for you. Like, it's a gift for you. It's a ladder. I was like, what the fuck?
This little tiny,
what are you doing?
This 2-pound ladder. It clearly was a show prop that Oliver had kicking around his apartment from,
he didn't
like
have
that.
a real ladder.
No.
It was for, like, shabby chic, for your apartment.
It's a blanket ladder. I have one of those.
But that ladder wasn't supporting anyone's body weight. That was just like the teeniest little adorable proppy ladder. It was just so Oliver.
It was so cute.
So good. Just so understated and perfect.
Yeah.
So what did we think? What did we think of the fact though that this is Ben's deal, y'all? He was in a sewing circle every Thursday. I just love Only Murders in the Building for these reasons because what other show?
Guessed that.
Right.
Who had that on their bingo card? Like nobody.
None.
But I
Not an
loved
option.
it. I was thrilled. And as soon as they started talking about how he wanted to hand sew all of those handkerchiefs for his cast and crew, because he had been what'd you say, a giant, I don't know, a steaming pile of cow manure.
Cow manure, yes.
Yep. And the fact that these little women were all sitting around sewing with him and running lines with him was just so happy. Because he probably also felt, like he could be himself around them, and it kept him away from drugs.
But
Nice.
meaning cookies. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought it was very endearing. The only other thing I could have thought of that would have made him more endeared to me is if he was, I don't know, saving puppies or doing something with animals in the background.
Yeah.
It made him immediately more three-dimensional and human and lived in.
Thinking back to his over-the-top, douchey kind of dickhead personality he had just from the first episode where he came in and he's like, who farted? And all.
Yeah.
That was all an act.
Yeah. Totally.
And it's sad.
And we've been saying that, but now now we're finally realizing the gravity of that how much it was an act. This is really not who this is who he sewing circle is Ben. This is his true colors. And I love it.
Poor insecure Ben who got fired as an 8-year-old. That's still him. And how nervous he was for opening night.
Yeah.
But multiple times I was sitting there hand on my heart in reaction about, this is awful. But I could not have been happier with the reveal that the 5 whores was his sewing circle of his.
It was a cover up,
besties, basically. Yeah.
It was his safe space.
And they were all at his show because he got them tickets. And I can't. It was very sweet. It won me over very well.
So, okay, because we have more to get to when it comes to the, where those 5 whores were and why they didn't get to come see the show. What were you going to say?
I did have one more thought while I was watching that scene.
Yeah.
Ben is there sewing handkerchiefs and running his lines. And I was like, well, if Tobert is supposed to be filming him and watching him and documenting his whole Broadway debut, was he there? Was he not there? Why was he not there? Was Ben already being difficult about him being there to film him? Did he keep that part private?
Yeah.
Was there already frustration? I was like, wouldn't he have been there if everything was going as planned?
If he was really truly trying to document his job?
Life? Well, it does seem to me that Tobert was hired by Ben or Dickie, like it was an inside kind of documentary. Like it was his documentary. It wasn't like, Donna was saying, it's my show and we're going to also produce a documentary. That doesn't seem like what it was. We don't know for sure, but
it was more personal.
Yeah. And it seems like Ben wanted to have the things documented, like the behind the scenes raw footage that he wanted to show the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe he didn't
not
want
his sewing circle.
Yeah.
That was the one thing. But I did, I couldn't help, it popped into my head during that scene when they were showing it. I was like, I wonder. That's kind of weird.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about where Tobert would be in that equation, but that's true.
I thought about where he was this whole episode.
And last episode.
Oh, yeah.
Where are you at, Tobert? Why you hiding, bro? What you doing?
I did appreciate the acknowledgement, Erica, that he was also delicious in the last episode.
Yep, that was for you, babe.
Yeah, yes. Yes, he is.
Okay, so moving on. Trio watches the interviews. They finally get that camera out. They're like, oh yeah, that thing, those really helpful, amazingly intimate, behind the scenes looks at things that we're not supposed to know. Oh yeah, that thing that we did. I was like, guys, when are we gonna watch? They seemed like oh yeah, good thought. It was so funny.
I did. So that was a great exchange too. When Charles says, Williams questioned everyone who crossed paths with Ben that night. We could use those interrogations to make a timeline of that 30 minutes. And Oliver's like, I knew you were due for a good idea since your last one 6 months ago. I was like, yes, we're back to Oliver roasting Charles.
Oliver Putnam Savage.
Just to add to the evidence is also the voicemail that Ben left for Trixie.
Yes, good point.
Yes.
We do. Yeah, and we get to see that from kind of two sides.
Such a sad voicemail.
It was so sad.
Oh, I know. All right. So starting with these interviews, though, they're piecing together this timeline of events 30 minutes before the show. And may I say, a 30-minute call time. Now, I've never been in a Broadway show, but I have never been a part of a show where they say, oh yeah, 30 minutes before the show, that's when you need to be signed in and in costume.
Enough.
Are you kidding me?
2 hours.
Well, I'm sorry.
So we had to be there 2.5 hours before
in every show.
Before the show.
In every show I've ever been, it's at least an hour, and that is at the very least. Usually it's 2 hours. Yeah. So for a Broadway show, you'd think it would be but whatever. I think that they were just trying to do this 30 thing, like Mabel's turning 30 minutes before the show. Clever. But
I will suspend my
suspending happily. Yes. I just had to call that out and be like, unrealistic, just so you know. No. Okay. So I love that how they go through this thing, though, how they're watching everyone's story, like they're an audience in this reenactment theater. It was very
I like that too.
Device.
Surrealistic.
Brilliant.
OMITB greatness. So, okay, KT, she's the first interview. All we get from her is that Ben was late and he brought a ton of hankies. And clearly he had enough hankies for everybody in the cast. He had 30 bags of hankies.
And
he was very excited.
All the gifts bags, and she just immediately
KT and that
him.
Casual cruelty.
But if I were KT, I would have probably had a heart attack if the star wasn't there 30 minutes to call curtain.
As the stage manager, I always love and very greatly respect my stage managers because, as we know, Jade is not the greatest when it comes to telling time. I don't know what it is with me. I have time dyslexia where I'm like, how do you read a clock?
Time blindness is a thing.
Okay, I've heard of this, and I wish that it were more. I wish that could be more of an excuse because I've looked into time blindness, and I'm like, I can never tell anyone that I have this and ever be taken seriously, but kind of feel like I do have it. So yes, I am always late. So I love my stage managers, and I greatly respect my stage managers because they help me not be time blind. And so KT, I can understand her bitchiness. Everyone's got I don't appreciate your snarkiness, KT. And I'm like, hey, she's doing her fucking job. And it's a hard job.
Yeah.
Love your stage managers. Give them respect, please. And don't make their lives hell. So, okay. So Cliff is the next.
And she's yelling at the Smackery's dog.
I want a dog named Schmackery.
Oh my
God. Schmackery. It would be a good dog
Schmackery Binks. Anyway. Oh,
Hocus
jeez.
Pocus. Yep. All those 90s kids in the audience. This is very, hey, where are you at? Holla. This is very nostalgic episode.
That's a deep cut reference.
It is. And I got you, babe. Okay. So the next interview is Cliff, and Cliff offered Ben the cookies. We find out Ben was fasting, so it had to be the cookies. We can take the mangoes off the...
But that's what I wondered. I was like, was it a fast entirely, or was he doing his crazy mango diet? Because people do like juice fasts and stuff like that.
That's a cleanse, though. I think fasting means, the word fasting means is not eating, not having anything. Like, that's a fast. Because
that's how I took it.
When you break the fast and you have something like even a juice, it spikes your insulin. So for it to be a fast, it would have to be no food.
But there is such a thing as fruit fasting, which is like an equivalent of a cleanse. And that you can only eat fruit. And or vegetables. So that's why I was like, well, it could still be mangoes if he's just doing more of his crazy cobra diet.
I don't know if we have enough time.
I don't think we have time to read between those lines. I love that you always have a devil's advocate to play that card. You got it in your back pocket at all times, Kara. You ever needed
the two of you need to be brought in just to kind of like check all those little, plot holes. But it could be this.
Get your magnifying glass out.
And
I have proof. And I have receipts.
Oh, gosh.
So I'm going with what the show, because we have very limited time. We only got half an hour to tell this fucking story. So I think that they're saying it has to be the cookies. I think that that's the reason that they put that in there, was because we had heard this mango thing, and the mangoes were in those photos, and like we're wondering, is that the way? And Loretta says, I put, poison in his protein drink. So now I think that that's going to be the clincher to get Loretta off the hook, is to say, well, we have in this interview, he says Ben was fasting. So therefore that means he never had a protein drink before the show like usual. The only thing that the poison could have possibly been in was the cookie. That's what I think.
And the writers surely did not anticipate everyone basically figuring out that he was talking about and 2 cookies immediately.
I guess
because
not.
This was the first time that they actually revealed that there were in fact cookies in his dressing room.
And shocking absolutely no one.
No, I beg to differ. My husband was beyond shocked. I'm like,
I love it. Is he not listening to us?
I said,
so cute.
I'm like, you didn't listen to us? Because I said, I think it was said like the episode 1.
Yeah, as soon as we see it with Tobert with Mabel, I was like, he's talking about fucking cookies. This is great.
And everyone online, if you're into the show and looking at what people are saying in Reddit and Facebook and whatever, and comments on YouTube, then you would have seen it's cookies. My mind was blown immediately after watching the episode, because we were watching screeners, so we got to podcast before we saw anyone else's theories, because no one else had seen the episode yet. So when Kara said that, I was like, oh, that's my friend, my smart friend, calling that out, because I was ashamed. Agatha Christie Jade didn't catch that he was talking to cookies. That's something that I would totally get too. Like I was mortified for not catching that clue, but that's what I got you. That's why I pay you the big bucks, Kara.
I was going to ask you, because again, and I know we're not going to even worry about it, but like that rat poison, like just a little bit on there would have caused him to die, but come back. Like I feel like there's more.
I have things to say when we get to.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get to Loretta's when they come up to the conclusion that Donna did poison the cookie. Let's get through these other interviews first. So. So he says to Cliff, check on my 5 horse, my 5 guests, because they're still not here. And there's a weird thing that Cliff says. There's like a riot at the UN or something causing all this traffic. That seemed weird to me. Anybody else think that was weird?
Completely dismissed him. I just saw it as him being absolutely dismissive of Ben and what he needed. He was all focused on him.
Okay, that's probably all it was, but it seemed very weird.
Or maybe he sabotaged them not to come in.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I was thinking
Which
too. Like
seems
maybe
weird. Like, why would he want Ben not to feel supported?
They gave Ben a really shitty dressing room, especially in comparison to Charles.
Oh, yeah. We heard about that a lot.
These things start stacking up as like Donna and Cliff don't seem to be wanting Ben to get comfortable in this role.
They're not
for some
team
reason.
Ben.
Not team Ben. They're not team Ben is my leading man. Hashtag not my leading man. So yeah, that's just make a note of it, Nancy Drew. Mark it down in your clue book. So then they get to Dickie's interview. We find out that Loretta, as I called it I think we both did, Erica, you and I both agreed that Loretta was probably encouraging Dickie to quit as Ben's manager, and that's the reason that Ben got all upset. And they're like, how did we not know that she's his mother? It's so obvious. She's like giving him like cortisone cream and,
his Benny Bites.
His Benny Bites. Yeah. He's acting
Bites,
like.
That was so.
Yes. And then as they're, looking at this scene, all Oliver can say is, doesn't Loretta look pretty? And I'm like, yes, she does, Oliver. I just see that's something I would totally say. I would just be so distracted by the pretty lady that I love. Yeah.
Oh.
And then, yes, we see this fight between Ben and Dickie, or according to Dickie. So all of these things that we're seeing are according to the person in the interview who's recounting what happened. So possibly to be completely believed. I don't know. I don't think that there's any reason to not think that Ben and Dickie had this fight where he's like, I'm no bro. You're no brother of mine. Ain't
when
no
he
brother
said,
of mine.
I'm no bro, I lost
That was funny.
That was just too bad. And he delivered it so perfectly.
Because Paul Rudd...
seriously.
Yeah, the earnestness that Paul Rudd is being so lame. It's adorable. It's really endearing. I was very endeared to Ben.
I think he did an excellent job in this episode. Like, the complexity of portraying Ben in this episode and just...
Yes.
What are your thoughts, Shay? Because I think you were the...
I will get that. We've done not yet.
I want to hear about it.
Save it. Wait for it. Okay. You're going to be surprised, though. I'm going to shock everybody. Pants-dropping moment.
Did you say pants-dropping moment?
Yes.
Okay. Just checking.
Cut. You know what that's from? Clueless. Paul Rudd. You like what I did there?
God, that's fantastic.
When she said, you think Marky Mark is going to take time out from his busy pants-dropping schedule to plant trees? Josh, hire a gardener.
Gosh. Oh yeah, hire a gardener.
Yeah, that movie is imprinted on my brain.
That's
no
fair.
shame.
It's a good one.
I have
no shame.
Nope.
No, that movie is amazing.
It is. So, okay. I would also like to point out another thing. We see this poster of the glass menage a trois in full view behind the interviews. We see that poster a lot behind those interrogations. Just make a note of it, Nancy Drew. Mark it down.
I had a thought.
I'm thinking, well,
I guess
do you want to
that's
say
more
it now?
appropriate for theories, but I immediately thought of Jan, Saz, and Charles. If Saz was somehow involved, just because of the stunt double thing. But it was one of those very fleeting things that popped into my head while we were watching the episode. So I was like, I don't know if there's anything more to that. I don't know.
Two women and a man. That's what the poster has. Those three big laughing, cartoony faces with their mouths open. Okay, so before we get to the pants-dropping moment. All right, so next up, we got to talk about Howard.
Howard.
Yeah. Howard was excellent this episode. We were getting some great Howard. Peak
Howard.
Peak Howard. Just, this shit is so funny. The writing is so funny this season. It's really, especially the second half of the season, it really has been just nailing it. So
he was an MVP.
MVP.
Really. Oh my God.
Oh, we love Michael Cera Creighton on this podcast. We do.
So much.
Yep. Big fan.
He is underrated. I think he's getting more attention now, which is fabulous and well deserved. Rate
him higher. Pay the man. So he went to the office for the broom. Door was locked. He heard the shredder, and I loved it. I thought that was odd. Cut to knock, knock, knock. That's odd.
Yeah,
so cute.
That was cute.
So this was a close contender. It was a contender for my marvelous moment. Didn't quite make the cut, but we'll show it anyway.
I'll do a progress check on the shredder.
And so, it was the brilliant Howard Francis Morris cracked the case by...
Oh, fuckity fuck.
Fuckity fuck was used a lot this episode.
Right?
Yes,
Maybe
it
think
was.
of Negan.
Fuckity fuck.
It made me think of myself because we all know how much Jade loves to say fuck, and I was getting a kick out of it this episode. It was great. So, yes, Howard with his binocular glasses. He's like, I love that he's like, dictating his own Sherlock Holmes novel out loud to himself, too. Like, it's his big moment, and then a gust of wind. He's so great.
He and Mabel's friendship. I wish we saw more of them because
I know
love their interaction.
Well, after what he did, she better let him on that podcast.
I'm
sorry.
Right? The man's, he's lost his sight.
Yes.
So then we get Loretta's interview, and we see how the fight went down when Ben attacks Loretta.
That was rough.
He grabbed her like all out by the collar. I was like, oh shit.
But that was from her perspective, so maybe it was more aggressive because of, but still, if anyone's attacking me, it was pretty scary.
Yeah, so they're like doing the fight call with no one's watching, no fight coordinator. I'm like, in no reality is this happening, but whatever. I suspend my disbelief. And they have this argument, and the words to the play, they were like, wow, these words are spot on. Like
that was so funny.
Perfect. Yeah, I forget how Charles commented on it. He was like, wow, couldn't get any more.
This dialogue really lines up.
There you
go. Yes, it does, Charles.
Yes.
True.
He's paying attention.
Yeah. And then when Charles walks up, he's like, God, I'm pale. Is that how I really sound? I'm like, Charles, he's so vain. He's so vain. Yes. And then Mabel's like, I can't believe you hit him, by the way. And Charles defends himself, and Oliver, easy, Cassius. Another Julius Caesar reference. That was really good. That made me laugh very hard.
Well, and I mean, Cassius Clay, like the boxer.
Oh.
Deep Cled.
I thought it was, and there goes Theater Jade.
No,
that's probably what he was referring to, but I don't know boxing.
We'll take Sports Cara at Theater Jade.
Yeah. Well, Cassius Clay is Muhammad Ali, so it was still kind of like a deep cut. Cassius Clay was I think that was his original name. Anyway, Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, boxer. The fighting is where I think that was, but still technically Caesar.
I thought it was a Julius Caesar reference because Cassius is the general or whatever that led the charge against, to assassinate Julius Caesar.
That works too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that you're more accurate though, Kara. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Anytime.
So, yes. So then, together we can put these references together.
Together we can. Si se puede.
Yes. Oh my God. So anyway. 90s nostalgic. Gotta kick it up. America Ferrera. Stop it. Okay, listeners out there, sorry for being annoying. But I'm not really sorry because we are enjoying our fucking selves right now. We're having a good ass time. We just miss each other, I think. And so our podcasts are really long and kind of just all over the place because this is our time to have like our bestie chat. And so we go off on little tangents. Oh, you love it. Yeah, hopefully you love it. If not, there are other podcasts you can enjoy. So, okay. Then Joy comes in to put makeup on Ben. They didn't want to pay Andrea Martin to recreate this. Understandable.
Rude.
We move on, right? Rude. I mean, I could have done with more Andrea Martin, as always. Then, I don't know if we're going to see Joy again. What do you guys think? Let's talk about that now, because there was a lot of mention of Joy. Charles brings it up several times. He's sad.
Her wedding dress.
Yeah, and Charles is seriously conflicted. He's feeling some kind of way about his heart's kind of broken. Do we think we're going to see Joy again? I'm thinking maybe.
So I'm hoping.
Yeah.
We need more Joy.
I know. Joy. I'm thinking Joy might come back for the finale. And maybe
at least an appearance or something. Yeah. Maybe it'll tease their...
And bring back Lucy.
Yeah, right? I mean, we probably won't get Lucy, but
no, we won't.
I have a feeling that Charles might be ending up with Joy in the end, like romantically. I don't know. Just kept coming up into my mind that he's really not over her and he might... But I don't know. They didn't do a really great job of selling them as a couple to us.
No, I did not enjoy them.
Yeah, neither did I, especially not the way they left things. I was like, no, Joy.
At least maybe rekindle their friendship because they had a long friendship.
Yeah, some closure would be nice. Some closure for sure. Actually, totally. That's what it's going to be. Probably not get together romantically, but probably closure because they didn't leave things in a good way.
He has to give her back the wedding dress that now Mabel's wearing.
Yeah, obviously, yes.
Yeah.
Nailing it,
That's
Erica.
true.
Nailing it. There you go. So we can expect that to happen. All right.
Yeah.
So, okay, then we have Donna's interview. She says, this is where it starts to get very sketchy for me, the Donna stuff. I was like, I don't know if I believe any of that. I don't know. She says she gave Cliff and Ben both pep talks. They were both nervous. And in the imagination reenactment, Donna says, go to your dressing room and do whatever you need to do to get ready to go on that stage with a smile. And
Eat the cookie. It's fine.
yeah, just
Eat the cookie.
yeah, she's got this like sly grin on her face, though. That's like, I know there's a poison cookie in that dressing room, so I don't know how much we can believe that.
It's weird.
Yeah, this whole Donna poisoned the cookie thing. I don't know.
That reminded me, because watching that scene, I was like, okay, but why the hell would Donna need to resort to poison? Was it convenience where she started freaking out reading the review and being like, crap, like I don't want him to fail? And then I was so happy that you mentioned the possibility that Donna has cancer last week, because I wrote that down and I was just like, she's throwing up, she's got her wig, like that's a little weird. And if she is in that state of mind already, where if she is terminal or something, then she has nothing to lose. She wants to make sure that Cliff is taken care of. And I could absolutely see her making much more reckless decisions.
Can I,
you know,
can I just ask though, because this has been bothering me, and I know this is jumping slightly ahead, when they discovered that it was the review that she was shredding, I'm like, was that the only copy of that review? Like that physical copy? I'm like, come on now, we're in 2023. Like, I'm sure she typed it up on her computer and there is a digital.
Well, I assume that's how Donna got a hold of it, or Cliff, possibly. But most likely Donna, is that she has connections in terms of, you know, the theater critic and publishing world.
Like if she broke into her laptop and went in and like deleted the file, that would make more sense. Although I did love the reveal.
I think more of what it was, and we will talk about this in depth in theories, but I think more of what it was is that she wanted to just destroy any evidence of the fact that she had it.
She saw it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, maybe Donna isn't the one who got her hands on the review and somehow KT had it. And for whatever reason, Donna was in there, I don't know, snooping or checking on something in KT's office, stumbles upon the review, locks the door so nobody can come in and catch her, like, in the office reading and snooping around. And then when Howard knocks, she panics and shreds it. And then, you know, the way they imagined it happening is her seeing the rat poison and then deciding to sprinkle it on the cookie, which is a whole other issue. But that would be the most logical way of that playing out to me. But I was like, so KT, I mean, obviously she's also a stage manager. She's well versed in the theater world. We had her, you know, educate us on Gideon and what to do in that situation. She seems like she's been around. So she could also have connections, and she could also be worried about a potentially bad review. So
that's true.
I could see it either
because it could affect her, because then if the show closes, then she's out of a job.
Yeah. So, and we don't know anything about what's going on in her life, and barely saw any of her in this episode. So I was like, I don't know. I could see it as KT was the one who got a hold of it. She saw it, freaked out, and they're going in the wrong direction with Donna, or Donna found it in KT's office and it played out the way Mabel and the trio.
There's a line where Oliver says, oh yeah, when they find out that Donna is the one who shredded the review and poisoned Ben, when they realize that this is probably what happened, Oliver says, oh yeah, and she's always talking about her connections with the paper. And I was like, when I hate
in that
when murder mysteries
episode.
Right.
Yeah, there is one episode where she talks to Oliver about Maxine. She sees Maxine speaking to Oliver.
Yeah, but she doesn't say anything about her connections to the paper.
No.
Like Oliver says she's always bragging about her connections to the paper. I was like, I haven't heard her brag about a single connection at the newspaper. And so I hate when murder mysteries do that, when right as the person is putting the pieces together, like not
There's
giving
new information.
Right. And like, that's not
They
quite
justify
fair.
it with something that we didn't hear at all.
Yeah, it's like
we are not privy to.
Yeah, we would have no
guys.
ability to put that together. So that was a bummer when I heard that.
Yeah.
But it's also possible what you're saying, that this is what they're seeing, and, you know, this imagination reenactment is not accurate, and it's not Donna who did any of this. It's KT.
Because everything else they see is based off of something that they heard in an interview, or something that they know to have happened, like Ben leaving that voicemail. And we didn't hear any portion of, you know, what's his name? Taubert's interview.
Well,
So
Taubert
a
didn't
lot
get an
of it-
interview. Taubert was gone.
No.
But
It's
that's
always,
the thing. So where was
always
he?
MIA.
Where was Bobo? Where was Ty? Where was Jonathan? We don't get any of their interviews. So there's a lot of... At some point, we
saw Ty and Bobo's
and we
interviews
saw them
in person.
Right, as they're happening.
And I think that they're just kind of like...
They're just... Bobo's mother has one foot.
Aw, that was fun.
Ty is just Ty.
They imagined a lot. They made a lot of assumptions with,
they did indeed.
You know, clues, but the entire Donna part of that was assumption.
Thank you.
And it was based on only that one line that Oliver recalled her saying.
Yes.
That was in the review. And that was where they connected it. Like wooden as the lighthouse.
And
yes, and I love
you brought that up, Jade. That
I was so happy.
Did.
I was I said it on the last podcast. I was like, and when she said, "Oliver, you're looking as wooden as that lighthouse we built," I was like, didn't that sound weird the way that she said it? I'm like, that
was odd.
It's in the Nancy Drew Clue book.
But that's the thing. Like, and it's also not entirely out of the realm of possibility for her as the producer to have access to an advanced review. So I don't know, but they made a lot of assumptions with that, and that's why I was like, we know the show, like we know these writers. I don't think we can take this as 100% truth,
right?
As of right now.
Agreed. So, second, just while we're on the subject of Maxine's review, second contender for Oliver, for Howard, marvelous moment, which didn't quite make my cut because this is not my most marvelous moment, but it's excellent, is when Howard comes in with that review taped together and Oliver discovers that it's Maxine's review and he goes, "OM God," which now is my...
OM God.
I have already used that phrase about 50 times, y'all. Like, this is my new way.
So cute.
Shocking. OM God. Like, I just can't. I love it so much. So that's what I'm going to say now.
You just need to make a comedy reel of like...
Oh, yeah.
All Howard lines.
Oh, yeah.
It's this.
That fast?
No, I just need to read 2 words. 2 words I'll never forget. Didn't sing. This is Maxine's review of my original show. But it was never published. How did someone get a hold of this?
2 words. I need to get LASIK, and he only needed 2 words.
What is that?
What is that?
Torn paper?
I need to tape it together.
No.
Look what you've turned me into.
Oh my God. And when Howard first comes over and he goes to hand the review and he's like, my vision's a little blurry. Here you go. And Oliver's like fully on the other side of him. It was so funny.
Precious.
I was dead. This was so funny to me.
He's so helpful.
Oh my God.
Good job, Howard.
Oh, it was so good. So then, then the guys then they have, all the friends have their talk about how none of them feel good enough in life. And it comes out that it's Mabel's birthday and she feels like the biggest loser in the group. And it's like so sad. I'm like, Mabel, calm down, baby. Calm down. You're only 30. It's okay. It'll all be okay. But she's all kerfuffled. And it is her birthday. And they're like, seriously, what are you doing here? And she's like, there's nowhere I'd rather be than with my olds, mysterying. Sleuthing it up. And I am on the verge of tears because it's so fucking cute and I love it.
She's tearing up.
It was so sweet. Like, I don't know what it was, but that just kind of hit me out of nowhere. Because Mabel also totally believes she's not one to make a huge deal about her birthday. And the fact that she was just so content spending it with Oliver and Charles doing murder things made me so happy. And I also will say, like, Charles, when he was starting to feel guilty, when he was realizing all of the shit that Ben was dealing with and how, he's like, I wasn't seeing the whole picture. I was just like, oh, Charles, that is a pretty rough realization. Give him a little grace. And then I also was like, oh, so if Ben was that thoughtful to hand sew all those hankies, then he was 100% the one who wrote all those personalized cards.
100%. Yeah, we were wrong about that because I really thought you had nailed it when you said that. I was like, oh, good one. But yeah, it was
funny.
Yep.
But we would never have known that until this episode because before then he was Ben the jerk.
Yeah. So, okay, this is where I wanted to bring it up. Charles does have a very unlikable moment for me in this episode. When they have the realization of Ben's pain, he says, oh my God, his brother was leaving him. I punched him. He was fasting. His elderly sewing whores were stuck in UN traffic. And all of this 30 minutes, all of this 30 minutes before his Broadway debut, when he was up all night making hankies for everybody in the cast, it was Ben who needed a hanky to cry into. And then he starts fake crying. And he's like, the dam has burst. And I'm like, Charles, because as Charles is saying all this and he starts to get going, I'm like, yeah, you're reading my mind. This is all my thoughts of like, oh my God, Ben was actually in a really bad state and I have sympathy for him all of a sudden. And I'm like, where are these feelings coming from? Charles is saying all this stuff. And then it turns out that Charles is just being an asshole and fake crying. Yeah. And I'm like, ew, why, Charles? Why you gotta be such a dick? With no, and then later he says, with no emotion at all, maybe if the last 30 minutes of his life hadn't been so brutal, he wouldn't have needed to eat that cookie and he'd still be alive. And Steve Martin says it with like no emotion. Yeah. And I was like, why is Charles so asshole this episode? I don't know. Am I alone here? Felt like, stood out to me a lot.
I felt like the crying thing, it felt weird to me, but Charles is selfish and kind of short-sighted sometimes.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is a horrible stab at humor because at first I was like, there was a lot that he was saying. Like, I do think he felt bad about Ben. But
do you? I don't. From what? Evidence, please. Evidence, lawyer. Present the evidence. I see no evidence.
That good of an actor. I don't think Charles is that good of an actor. Like, I think he was like working up to it and thinking about it. And he was like, oh, I can do it. This is my chance. Like thinking like, oh, this would be a good time. Like, I think it was just his brain jumping into, now I can cry. Like, this is real. And he's that bad of an actor. He couldn't draw on the real emotion he was experiencing.
I agree with that too. I agree with that, but also he also has a hard time conveying his feelings. Like, I mean, look at him like across all seasons. He holds everything in. He's really, really bad.
Yeah,
true.
I don't know.
It was a weird. It was not an.
It was a weird choice.
Moment.
It was a weird choice.
Yeah.
Well, this was a bit. Like, this was a bit that really worked when it worked, and then it just didn't work when it didn't work. And then later it got worse.
Guys, you took it too far.
Yeah, no, and then they took it again too far, and I was like, guys, this horse is dead. Quit beating it. When they were like, oh, how are we going to get to City Hall? I don't have any more. I'm fresh out of ladders. Oliver says, and Charles goes, and I can't cry more than once a day unless I think about my dad or my mom. Or any moment from my childhood. I was like, not funny. But anyway.
Nope.
I'm like, all right, Charles. I did enjoy when they were speaking about Joy. And Charles said, I hear she's with Bakula now. Like another callback to real life with Steve Martin and Scott Bakula being confused for each other when they were young. I was like, God, I love that so much.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And did we clock what Charles said going to get the dip for Mabel's birthday?
Okay, so this is where I was going next. So we just had the reveal. Like, Donna, the review, it was getting panned. She knew about it. And then Oliver goes, now we're getting somewhere. Got any food? Got any dips? And he goes, oh yeah, there's some red herring in the fridge. And I was like, oh, damn it.
Norwegian red herring. I was like, fuck. And then Charles immediately says, did the review mention anything about my performance? I was like, okay, so the mention of a red herring is sandwiched in between these reveals about the review. I was like, damn them.
Yep. And I got so excited because my wooden lighthouse comment was right, that it was something, and then oh no, it's a red herring. Damn it.
But it was something. It could still be something. It just might not mean what the trio thinks it means.
And this serves to further just my shock at how people everywhere, so many people are taking for granted that it's Donna. And I'm like, guys, they're telling us red herring. They told us. Yeah. Like the writers said it.
She was wearing a primarily red outfit at the end with a red lip. And I was just like,
she's a red herring.
Interesting. Yeah.
I'm like, have we learned nothing from Only Murders in the Building? It is merely episode 9. There are so many twists to twist before we get to the end of this bitch.
Their excellent theory at the end of season 1 where they had it solved about Teddy Demas and like put it out there on the podcast and they were arrested and then, no.
Nope.
Like, that's not what it was.
Yep.
So, yeah, there was a lot of presuming that had to happen.
Indeed.
For them to get to that point. So it's gonna be interesting.
And we have a whole entire episode to go. They're not done.
No.
They're not done.
I did love how they put the one single candle in the dip.
So, okay, here's where we're going next. So this was close to being another marvelous moment for me. Because
same. Yeah.
Because of the
harmony.
The Martin Short's acting here was just fabulous. I had my mouth open. I couldn't even laugh because it was so funny that I had to like let it play and then paused to laugh really, really hard. So this is what we see here.
Also, like, you just had a heart attack, Oliver.
I know. Enabler, like, give him the dips. Jesus, like, dig the man's grave while you're at it. Just fucking not a friend. Okay, so this is the part.
To my heart-healthy diet, but you found your way back to me.
Oliver, keep going.
Yeah, why?
You feel it too. You want me. No, you need me to tear into you, you naughty little mistress.
You want me? No, you need me to tear into you, you naughty little mistress.
I was just like, all right. Okay.
We just went there. Tear into the naughty mistress. You know I loved it. You know that this is just my fucking humor. That and like I used to be a whore. I'm just like, thank you for this episode. So good.
Well, and when Mabel's like, keep going, Oliver, and seems all into it, and Charles is like, yeah, why?
Why?
What are you talking about? I love
it. It went over his head.
Just a smidge. But as soon as he started talking to the dip, I was like, she's gonna realize it's the cookies. I was like, thank you.
Yep.
This is happening.
And this was a great way to reveal it.
Such a great way to reveal it.
So enjoyable.
Before we get to that reveal, though, which shocked absolutely no one.
Except for Nick.
Except for Nick. Yes. I must ask the question of the hour. What is the food that you talk dirty to? I'll go first. Pastis de nata. I cannot take a bite of a fucking pastis de nata without just telling it how fucking filthy it is and how much I fucking love it. I could. There's a place down the street from me that makes fresh pastis de nata, and I wish it did not. I wish it wasn't so close. It's within walking distance.
I don't know.
It's sad.
I'm hungry. My mac and cheese, like my doctored up, like bread crummy, secret sauce, like gooey mac and cheese. I fucking love mac and cheese and steak. I will talk to a delicious like Wagyu steak and dance while I eat
Wagyu.
it. Like, I do talk to my steak.
You do that sexy Wagyu dance.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not very sexy. It's mainly like or sitting there like with my fork. It's just, it's so good. That or kolaches. No, steak. I really love
steak
food.
for Kara. What about you, Erica?
Yeah.
What's your talking dirty food?
Steak.
It would have to be a dessert, like something warm, like apple pie with like ice cream a la mode, or like something chocolatey, like a chocolate lava cake. Oh,
Erica, you would say apple pie a la mode.
I'm blushing. Oh, I'm thinking about it. Something like that. I don't know.
Panties dropping.
Or brisket. Like, if I can smack a brisket and get a good brisket jiggle, like, I'll start talking to it.
Spank that brisket.
Kara's
pretty
cares about that meat.
I know. Yeah. I love how Erica and I picked dessert, like a fluffy, flaky pastry dessert, and Kara's like, meat.
Meat. Savory, delicious. Wagyu.
Wagyu. So, okay. I had to ask that question. Now, we see Ben is talking to these cookies. And yeah, what did you guys think of that? Do you guys go first? Because this is my pants dropping moment, my big reveal.
I was uncomfortable while he was doing it, but I thought that was absolutely spot on for how I should feel watching him have this, inner conflict over these cookies. But I thought Paul Rudd did an absolutely brilliant job with this scene. Just in general, all the emotions that you can see are coming across his face, to basically lusting after this cookie and, wanting to devour it, to just disgust and sadness and everything flashing. Doing this with 3 people basically sitting there and staring at you the whole time on top of it, as an actor, must have been interesting. So I don't know, it made me uncomfortable.
You're nailing it. Yeah, it made me uncomfortable too. Erica, what did you think?
I was, when he went to the mirror and he was staring at himself, and when he wrote fucking pig and then the imagery of the pig around his face, I was like chills. It was really heartbreaking. Being uncomfortable was probably the best emotion I could be. I felt so sympathetic to the character. I was like, bravo, Paul Rudd, because like this was he stretched himself in every possible direction from this character. Like, wow.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Yeah, which is why this actor right here, this actor got to pick this as my most marvelous moment.
Yay! It's a Paul Rudd moment.
It's a fucking Paul Rudd moment, y'all. I am just as shocked as you. This is the true shocker. This is the big reveal that Jade, who has said on this podcast that Paul Rudd is not my favorite actor and that I just didn't get him and he wasn't my humor and everything. No, Paul Rudd is not my humor, but God damn it, I will be damned if he is not a fucking actor, y'all, because this was not only my most marvelous moment of this episode, of this fucking season. This is so good to me because exactly what you guys are saying. So disturbing, this extremely unattractive camera angle. The moment goes on so long, it's like beyond cringe. This crosses the cringe realm. This is cringe plus,
Oh yeah.
The fact that it was so uncomfortable to watch, and exactly what you guys are saying, you're not.
And they broke that fourth wall. You couldn't look away.
Oh yeah,
you were like
could not look
looking
away.
at us.
I wanted to run. I wanted to scream. I wanted to close the laptop, but I couldn't. It was like a bad car accident, and it's exactly the moment. This is exactly the energy we needed. And what I just have to say, Paul Rudd, baby, because I know you listen to this podcast. I see you. I appreciate you. A hats off to you. Panties dropped, sir, because the no ego, the extreme vulnerability of an actor to do this.
Exactly.
That this is what we call in acting land private in public. In acting school, and no one ever talks about the exercises we have to do in like theater conservatory and training and everything. And I kind of feel like I'm revealing a secret of like a Freemason sacred like religious practice or something, but this is why y'all come to this podcast, is for the juicy details. So I'm going to tell you, we do this exercise in acting school called private in public, and you have an activity, and you have like we did it for like 45 minutes, maybe an hour, in front of a classroom full of people, and the goal is to do the activity and just to sustain it for a really long period of time and just behave as yourself in a vulnerable moment with people watching you, and to do it as if you're in private. So the goal of acting, right, is to be truthful. It's all about revealing human truth, is like embodying another human's life and letting it flow through you. So when you can be extremely yourself, completely uninhibited, and do those things, those embarrassing secret things that we would never let even our closest person in the world, we've never let them see that.
Yeah.
If you can do that on stage and completely reveal yourself to an audience like you're just naked, those are the award-winning moments. Ain't nobody ever won an Oscar by being pretty. No. You went out, you gotta get ugly.
Monster, Charlize Theron. I think about that all the time. Like, that was brutal portraying Eileen Wuornos, and
yes,
it worked.
Yes,
Riley,
absolutely.
No, sir.
I was so shaken. I was shaken like a snow globe by this moment. It's not good acting. It's great. And yeah, Paul Rudd, you done it, baby. I mean, just congratulations to you, because I never realized that he had this in him. And now I have to say, I'm a Paul Rudd fan.
Yeah. Yay.
Fangirl here. Let us watch the moment.
So fun.
Oh God, let's be uncomfortable again.
Yeah, let's do it.
I would like to see the behind the scenes to this.
I'm gonna like
Oh
it.
my God, yes. So we see him turn off the camera, which I love that we got to see that. Makes sense now.
And they're so close to him.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
It's orgasm. Like this is fucking sex. We are watching Paul Rudd's sex face, y'all. Like,
He was
wow.
making love to that cookie, and
What the fuck did you just do?
then
You ate the whole thing. You're disgusting.
Loretta was right.
You're a fucking pig. You're a fucking pig.
You're a fucking pig. You are a fucking pig.
Pig. Pig. You're a fucking pig.
the squealing. The squealing, y'all.
Fucking pig.
that's my wine. I'll be right back.
Go get your wine.
And he just wants his girls there.
He just wants his girls.
This is Trixie. Please leave me a message.
Hey, it's me. It's Benny. Are you guys coming to the show? I really need you to be here. I've just never felt so alone.
Ben, everyone get coping night jitters. I can talk you through it.
I gotta go. Please get here soon. I'm surrounded by people I can't trust. They're all out to get me.
And you know it's
That moment too, like the last
his
check.
voice cracked. Like he almost sounded like he was gonna cry, but then he sounded like they almost like then you hear that they're out to get to me.
I'm good.
Almost sound paranoid.
I'm good.
He runs the gambit of emotion right there, you know? And if I were to just like let myself go there, I cried the first time I watched it. I think I had probably needed a good cry anyway, but this did not take much to get me there. And I just, not only that, but it's just so relatable. And that's why I really love Paul Rudd for doing this, because we all need to see those ugly moments of ourselves reflected back on our screens, because not enough people in the world get around to going to therapy, and Lord knows everyone in the world needs therapy. So sometimes our television viewing is like our therapy. And that's exactly what this probably was for so many people. I hope it was. It was for me anyway, and I go to therapy, but this still got me to a place of realization in myself where I'm like, give yourself a hug, Jade, because it's okay to have those moments where you look at yourself in the mirror and you tell yourself how fucking disgusting you are. And ugly, and you just hate on yourself. Like, it's okay, because everybody does it. It's the human condition. Kara's got her wine. It's all good.
But also just to like, you know, like revealing like what he was really going through. Like everybody had these assumptions about like what kind of person he was, and he was like everyone thought he was this horrible, you know, one note character who was just very self-centered, didn't care about anybody, was a drug user. Apparently Dickie said he was always like looking for women and going out and you know with sex workers. Like I mean, he was painted as a really not like a really desirable character, like and like how tortured he was and how like he would hurt himself for what he does. Like he hurt himself in every fashion you could look at by drugging himself, self-medicating, depriving himself of food, you know, calling himself horrible names.
100% has disordered eating habits.
100%.
Absolutely.
If not a full-blown eating disorder, which just
very dark.
Rough. It was really rough to see him portray that. I was like, oh man, I didn't think I would cry.
Paul Rudd, I never thought Paul Rudd would make me cry. I never thought that I would feel the way that I do about Paul Rudd, but he is doing the best acting on this show right now, and I am just shocked. This is what it's all about. You know, this is the fucking real shit that actors, that he's an actor, and like
contending with the great Meryl Streep, and luckily she wasn't in this episode to compete with. Oh, she was. I mean, not in this scene. Like we weren't focused on her. We were able to focus on him and
100%.
Yeah. And I mean, Meryl Streep wasn't given this scene to do, and I'm sure she would have done it absolutely amazingly, vulnerable, private and public. She knows that shit. Meryl knows what it's all about. But the fact that it was given to, you know, Paul Rudd, and he takes the lead in this show. Yeah, Ant-Man. He knocked my fucking socks off. I fucking love it. I love it. I'm a Paul Rudd fan. Here I go. I need to now watch everything this man has ever done, because as an actor, now I need to know what can I steal from you, because that's what it's all about. Whenever I see some good acting, I gotta study him now, because just never overlook anyone.
No,
don't be ignorant. Don't do that. Nobody likes an ignorant whore.
Gosh, but I think if I think about this season, that scene will be probably the first thing that pops up, just because of how impactful it was. And it kind of came out of nowhere. Like, I expected him to be talking to the cookies, but I didn't expect him to be having this like internal crisis and breakdown. And
I thought it was going to be funny, kind of like Oliver's. Right? Like, you know, oh, that's so funny because, like, he's, you know, he wants those cookies and they're his addiction. No, this was just really difficult.
It was just painful. Yeah. And like I could just go on and on about it. But like the way that it goes from this pleasure, and then he punishes himself for experiencing that pleasure. Like, and we see it in real time. Oh, it's just moving. It's very moving. It's wonderful. Yeah. Love it. Off the charts.
Was the moment that they started talking about the moments of Ben, was it exactly 30 minutes? Because you know it's supposed to be 30 minutes before he died. I'm just curious if it was clocked, because the episode was 37 minutes, and I'm just curious of how many minutes was this.
You are 100% right, because that moment began at 29 minutes and 30 seconds. So, and it was about 30 seconds long. So, yep, it was 30 minutes to the minute. Erica, you're nailing it.
That gives me chills. Poor Ben.
Yeah,
we didn't think poor Ben last season. I also want to just say the acting in this season is the best. Like,
it really is.
This is like they brought it up.
Well,
I mean, even though like
Amy
there was
Ryan,
some moment,
Amy Ryan, lest we forget the Queen, she was pretty fucking good. It was pretty. But
just some of the moments that they've brought, like last week's with Loretta, you know, confessing, and that like just some of these moments, like I think like even if for first season, I always think of episode, what was it, 8 with Theo, like I think of that, like, but like these there's so many in this season, I feel like they stick with me.
Yep, I completely agree that this might be my favorite season. It might be surpassing season 1.
It's hard. I still don't like hard. I'm gonna have to watch season 1 again, and then once this is complete, I'll watch them again, and
then there'll be me, and I'll be like, I love all 3. I need the whole package deal. I can't choose. It's like choosing my children. They're all my faves.
It's such a good show.
It
really is.
So, okay, let's get to the end of this episode. They go to the courthouse, which, okay. So
it was ridiculous. We needed this moment.
It was ridiculous.
We really did.
Yeah, we needed the levity. We did. And it really made me laugh out loud. I just was LOL, 20 minutes to dress and get downtown? Never. That's what my notes say. Just
that's funny.
Time
and
the way
for her to get dressed up and look beautiful like she was just about to get married.
Oh no. God,
right? Her makeup even everything looked spot on. I was like, all right.
Okay, spot on. Selena Gomez looking gorgeous in this wedding dress, tits everywhere. I'm living for it. It made my day anyway. I was like, yes.
I still wanted him. I still was kind of hoping it was going to be Theo.
Fantastic.
Oh, I know.
Not yet, though. Yeah. Not yet, though. She'll have her MASH moment, hopefully.
Yeah. So the now we know why Charles was talking about BB Newirth's phone number, because the last time he wore the tux was to the 1987 Emmys, which means BB Newirth's phone number, which is great.
So funny.
That was hilarious.
But I would appreciate it if you would bring BB Newirth on this show, please. Please and thank you.
I would
That
too.
would be great.
Please.
More BB Newirth. Where'd you go, BB?
Can we, at the end of this season, or maybe whenever we do, can we make a list of like people we would love to see on the show?
Our Christmas wish list?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have
like
a
it.
ton.
Maybe we can manifest it into happening.
So yeah, we hear the voiceover as they're rushing to the courthouse. Mabel wished for on her dip cake that to be with her besties doing murder stuff. Not a bad life.
Love it.
And I'm crying. I was really sobbing by this point in the episode too. At this point I was crying because I'm like, I'm just so happy. I love them together. And then they get to the security guard who has no idea what's going on the other side of the door. For some reason. Well, I mean, maybe that's the case. Okay, yes, lawyer. The lawyer speaks. Okay, please.
I was having a very hard time not nitpicking because I was just like, this is so stupid.
Hey,
because
we've got a podcast. What else is it for? Pick those nits.
So the whole idea of them dressing up as, they're going to a wedding and the wedding dress to get them to the courthouse quickly made sense. But here's the thing. There's something called the Sixth Amendment that guarantees you the right to a public trial. That has been interpreted by the Supreme Court that, any court proceeding is de facto open to the public. The open court system is incredibly important in the United States. They could walk into that arraignment, no problem. Anybody off the street could walk into that arraignment as long as they weren't, going through a metal detector and had like a knife or a gun. So the fact that the security guard stopped them, I was just like, okay, this doesn't make any sense to prevent them from going into the courtroom unless she was like, these people are insane. Like, I should probably talk to them and see why they're so, energetic and running around. That was the only thing that got me there, because I was like, they're allowed to go in there. Her arraignment is open.
Hot takes from attorney Kara.
I love this. Yes. No, thank you. I'll bring them always. But Kara, if they didn't have this confrontation with the security guard, we wouldn't get the reason for this entire bit. The reason for the whole wedding dress, the reason for all of it is just to make a father of the bride joke. We are the fathers of the bride. Oh, that's
as
fun.
I opened this. Yeah, I forgave them as soon as that whole moment took place because I was so happy.
It was so good.
And with Martin Short, both of them there. That's going to be really loud. I'll wait for a second to open my wine while I talk.
She could open up her wine if you show that scene real quick.
Yes.
That's true. But it was just, Father of the Bride is one of those like top 5 comfort nostalgia watches.
Oh, yeah.
And having them reference it was wonderful. Also, the look on the security guard's face when Mabel, after they've said, we're fathers of the bride, and Mabel says, why does there always have to be a groom? And
why does there always have to be a groom?
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Many happy returns.
Don't be a bigot.
Okay, here we go.
Over that birthday candle stuck in a tub of dip. You're looking at it. Me with my 2 besties doing murder stuff. Not a bad life.
Is she wearing She's wearing white Doc Martens.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Love it.
My wedding.
Love it.
And you guys are wedding
iconic.
today.
That's right, we're the fathers of the bride.
Oh, that's fun.
So you got a groom in there?
Why does there always have to be a groom?
Many happy returns.
What is that even? The iconic door opening moment. Oh, yes.
Also, I knew that was a courtroom. When I saw it, I was like,
yeah, you did know that. And then I just realized, though, I was like, I couldn't figure it out until just now. Why does she say many happy returns? It's not what you say on someone's wedding day. I mean, I guess you mean like anniversary, but that's what you say on someone's birthday. And it's Mabel's birthday. And I just caught that.
Which is sweet.
And then we have our another marvelous moment. Fuck it. I've got how many marvelous moments? 6 million this time?
This whole episode.
Yeah, it's true. It's really good. Okay, this one. Hold on, here we go.
There she is. Loretta, wait.
Oliver runs to the front.
Oh, there's Donna back there.
What are you doing here? I came to stop you. Don't plead guilty. Wow. You look great and glowing.
Oh, I do? She giggles and touches her hair. She's so really cute.
Nice, too.
I do? This whole thing.
I love this.
You only confessed to save Dickie, but he didn't do it, and we can prove that. You have to trust me.
I do. She does. Please do. Oh, I do. Do you, Doobie?
Mm-hmm. Doobie do?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I trust you. I've gone down this road so far already.
Meryl, stop it. So good.
Who do you think did it?
Oliver.
Lady in red. Fuckity fuck. Took the words right out of my mouth. Yes, it's so good. What an ending. Oh, God, I loved it so fucking much.
Chills.
My hair.
Intense.
All of it. Oh, it's so good. Shall we just get into theories? Do we have anything more to comment on other than that fucking ending scene was excellent? Why do we think that Loretta is there? I mean, why do we think that Donna is there?
Well, I mean, she's either the murderer and wants to make sure Loretta
but she's not
goes through with it, right? Mm-hmm. But I would assume, maybe, and this would be knowledge that we don't have yet, if Loretta ultimately realized what she saw in the bathroom and that Donna was getting sick and she had a wig. That was a long time ago. That was on opening night. Perhaps Donna has confided in Loretta about cancer and they've formed a bond. Who knows? Or she wants to make sure she has a leading lady now that their musical seems like it's going to be a success.
Yeah.
And she's just nosy as hell. I don't know. Like, I didn't...
I was going to just say, also, she's the producer of the show, and this is should be a high profile
big
court
deal.
case because it's a celebrity, and his co-star murdered him. So you would think that whether or not there's a lot of people there, she's a producer of the show, that she should be there. Like, it could just be something as silly and logical like that. Like, oh,
yeah.
But
it makes sense.
Her standing up and getting really intense, of course, gave it a really good cliffhanger.
Yeah, and I just don't know why Oliver says fuckity fuck when he sees her. I mean, it's a great ending line.
If they
he's about
think
to accuse her.
Yeah, because he was going to say, it was Donna. And then he's like, oh, shit. Like,
oh, fuckity fuck. Yeah, I guess that's it. Yeah, I thought it was like a realization that he had that I wasn't catching on to, but I guess it's just that, like, surface.
Yeah.
Just
because no way in hell were they expecting to turn around and see Donna.
Yeah.
Standing there. Although maybe they should have been.
I certainly wasn't shocked. This was no pants-dropping moment for me.
It's like, oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, it was good.
Sure.
All right, let's get into theories. Let's talk about it. So that's all we got for the discussion of the entire episode. Join us for part 2 of our theories and listener feedcrack, and we got so much good feedcrack. Oh my God, just like reading it, I tried not to even read it all in depth. I just kind of skimmed it, and just a skimming, I got so high. Oh man, it's going to be a good one. So be sure to join us for part 2. We'll see you in a moment. Mwah. Love you.
Yay.